Hey there, Brett.
Greetings.
Hey, greetings.
How you doing?
Great.
All right, let me just have 1 second. I need to shut off my video here.
And Karen's going to come in on her thread because she's going to be doing a little scribing over there. Just go on the 4x4. No, that's a different one. That's
This is the only one.
yeah, 324. That's it.
This one?
Yeah.
All right,
We're gonna
Jay,
get
put
Karen.
yourself on mute for a sec, please. I'm just going to have
Yeah.
to do an introduction to the show. Yep, right on. Okay, so thank you, everyone. It's 7 o'clock p.m. in the UK, which means it's 12 o'clock on the West Coast out in California, La La Land, and many other times around the planet simultaneously. Isn't that just amazing? So what are we doing here today? Today we are on day 6 of a podcast called Beaming, B-E-A-M-I-N-G, Regen Era. And what is Beaming Regen Era? Well, I'm going to tell you about that as an opening, and then we're going to shift into something very exciting today, a live demonstration of playification, gamification, manifestation, and co-creation. So what is this Beaming podcast about? Well, last week on Sunday, March 21st of 2021, there's something called the Design Science Studio. And that is a program which is an incubator for artists and visionaries and technologists to come together and really learn how to co-create. And we came, and by the way, the Design Science Studio is backed by the Buckminster Fuller Institute and some other patrons and great other allies who helped make that happen. And this incubator was 144 people, actually. They came together this past August. And we went through a process together. And this week was really the culmination of our time together. And what happened on Sunday was collectively we launched something called Regen Era. And Regen Era is a storyverse. It's a platform. It's a vehicle. It's a place where all of the 144 members can share their art and their visions for the world and all of their projects. And it's just absolutely beautiful. So later on today, actually, I'm going to change my background. Please be patient with me because I actually have a background that has the links on it because I kept not being able to do that. So let me see. There we go. So everyone who's watching, you've got the links right above my head there. Please go check all of those out. There's an incredible amount of art. And what Regenera is this mythical floating city. It's going to be here for 10 years, and it's in service to the movement of the Regenaissance. And really our mission is to have a world that reveals itself as working for all of life. So for the next 10 years, we're going to backcast, we're going to futurecast, we're going to co-create in the now, and we're going to help the planet get to that space. And that's what we're all about here. Let me just see if my co-host Mark is going to beam in. Mark Smith has been my co-host all week, and we've had a bunch of artists here doing live art with us. We're going to be exploring this idea of non-fungible tokens, although we're going to upgrade that to a whole new level on the planet. And I'm just letting people in the room, if you bear with me. I'm producing and talking all at the same time. So let me just get everyone settled in here. Oh, I've seen some of my good friends are showing up to play the game today and help manifest the project that I brought into the Design Science Studio called Togetherland. So let me just get everyone in here and get everyone there. I'm going to make some of you co-hosts, by the way, in case you might be able to help me out. Jamin, I'm going to make you a co-host, if you don't mind. Thank you very much. I'm going to make Mark a co-host. Make co-host, yes. And who else do I need to make a co-host here? Aria, I'm just going to make you a co-host as well, in case you're out there and there's anything you can do to help or it comes up.
You've got Mark Wagner. Yeah.
Yeah, Mark, I'm going to make you a co-host as well, in case there's since you're a Zoom acolyte. All right. Let me just get you up here pinned, Mr. Mark Smith. All right. So Mark, I've done a basic introduction to the Design Science Studio and Regen Era. Why don't you beam in and give us your take. Give us what's alive for you today in relation to all of this.
Hi, Brett. Yeah, I've just come over from the main session for Regen Era Rising. And this is an event that's put on and sponsored by the Buckminster Fuller Institute and Habitual. And essentially what they've been doing over the last actually few years is planning the launch that we're experiencing this week. We are midstream in this launch. We started last Sunday. This is a group of 144 artists and designers from around the world who have come together to essentially join in this experiment of co-creation, this journey of mind share, this loveliness of open hearts, to take us and welcome us into Regen Era. Regen Era is a floating city that just appeared over Earth. It's here to remind us, to refresh us, to relieve us of this old story of separation that we've been colonized into. And it's heading towards a future that we are creating, a world building exercise of the more beautiful world our hearts know is possible. And by doing that, we have experienced a lot of backcasting. Backcasting is when we arrive in that future we know is possible, and we look back over our shoulder and we asked, how did we get here? That's the story we're creating. That's the essence of what we're doing here in Regen Era, the heart of the Regenaissance for the next 10 years during this design science decade. And I've come from the past. Brett's come from the future. We're here with you right now to explore what that all means and where it could take us. And Brett, I'm going to hand it over to you because I'm just so curious where we're going.
Right on. So what we're going to do is we're going to play this game. I'm going to introduce Jay Udis, who's the founder, super magnetically awesome, crazy, beautiful quantum genius who's been working on this project for 40 years developing his craft. Absolutely pioneer, trailblazer, one of the giants whose shoulders I stand upon. Thank you, Jay. Let me just say that right away. So we're gonna play the game for about 40 minutes. We're gonna do a quick introduction to the games because we want to just get in and play. And then after the game, Jay is gonna have some space to share more about the bigger vision and all that. And Jay, as we go, kind of course correct me if I say something that's inaccurate, if I'm not up to speed. What we're going to do today is literally one version of one part of Jay's platform. so just be aware of that. Like literally it's one part of the platform, and then there's many ways to play this one part of the platform. So we're just doing this simple thing. Jamin, if you see in the chat, there's a Google Doc. See if you'd be able to get that on your laptop. And if you are, let me know. And then I might ask you to share it because every time I share, my Zoom crashes. So this will describe the game very quickly. Jay, I'll let you walk people through it. It's got the agreements for the game. It's got the guidelines, and it's got a super quick overview of what we'll be looking at. So Jay, I'll ask you in a minute to say hi, introduce yourself, and walk people through this.
And Karen as well. So Karen is able to be with us today. So she's here to help.
Oh, great. So Karen is here. It was also right.
Hey, Brett.
Okay.
Brett, can I ask real quick, as we start into this, we've got people beaming in from all over the world in different platforms. We're here in Zoom, and many folks are attuning to us with Facebook. Is there something special they need to know to be able to play this game with us in as far as the field that we're working in?
Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 6 players join me to play live with Jay and Karen facilitating. And then in the original Facebook post for this, there's a link for a Google form, and it's also going to be in the Zoom chat. So if people can help me get that out, there's this Google form, and I'll put the link in here one more time before we get going. This what I'm asking people around the world, by the way, because this game is based on intention as well, I'm asking the people around the world to actually join the 7 players on stage with the most positive vibes and energetic space holding and love, and just beam that at us. But you also can interact, so to say, by looking at this Google form, either now or after the recording. It might be hard to do it now, but it's out there. And this Google form will allow you, when we start playing how it works, to start bringing some of your own cards, and that will make sense as we go, and some of your own sayings, and to fill out this form and really get in the game in helping us create this new type of NFT and to resource the Regenaissance and all that. Yeah. So before I just do that, Jamin has agreed to be one of my 6 cohorts in this game. I'm looking for some more volunteers. I need 6 of us, and I know there's at least 6 of you on this Zoom call. So who is going to step up? Man, woman, or child? Does anybody want to join us?
Okay,
And we
so
don't
I'm
have-
gonna look, and I'm gonna find who the first person is, because they're gonna beam at me right now. Who's beaming? Who's beaming? Bart, look at you.
Oh,
Look at that big beaming smile. You're in.
Bart is definitely in. I'm going to pin him to the screen. Hi, Bart. It's nice to see you. Thanks for playing, man.
I'll play.
Good to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hey, Greg.
All
Karen's
right.
beaming.
Let's
Karen's
see.
beaming. Is Karen
Dan,
in?
Dan, you want to play with us, man? Yeah, the Flying Dutchman. These are my boys, the Flying Dutchman. We got to bring in Bart and Dan.
You've
We
got
need to
Karen.
find we need to find a girl. We need to find a
Karen.
girl here to come in.
Karen's playing. Karen's in.
Well,
Karen,
I'll
you
tell
have-
you what. I'll tell you what. No, I'll tell you what. I actually was thinking I might actually want to bring 6 men, my brothers,
okay.
not to exclude
That's right.
women.
That's fine.
I was
Okay.
actually thinking it might be nice, because all of these men here are actually super heart-based and super tuned in to what we call the feminine, and super
Perfect.
awesome. So I think it actually might be quite nice, and we'll ask the women out there to hold space for all of us and to let us play our role, because we are here in service to life and to the feminine as well as the masculine. So let me see. Does anyone else? Greg, do you want to step in? You're familiar with X the game. You don't have to. I'm just asking.
No, yeah, I already
Yeah,
said
he
yeah.
said.
All
I got
right, you're
drunk.
in. Then
Yeah.
I am adding you in. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. Anyone else out there? Dave Smith, you have any inclination to play, or you want to watch?
Just
Hover.
for now, I'm just woken up early here.
All right, we'll let you wake up. All right. All right. So
By the
we're
way-
gonna kick
by the way,
off.
we
Mark
call
Wagner,
everybody-
Do you have any inclination?
It's either a hoverer or a player. Who are the real players here in this group mind for today? Not just hoverers.
I've
All
never
right.
jump in if you want.
All right. Well, you should be here anyway, as co-host, as my
Yeah.
best friend on this mission. You actually are obligated to play. So
There we go.
we're going to launch with this. Pollyanna's going to write a song while you're doing this. Awesome. I'm so happy to have you here.
Nice.
Thank you so much. Oh, she's got the guitar out. Oh, that's so excellent. By the way, Polly, you can just give a thumbs up at any point, or put in the chat. Like if you ever want to play for like a half a minute, like if a song, like if a part of the game comes up or something where you're like, oh, I can play for whatever. It's no expectations. I'm just letting you know that the floor will be open for like a little burst of something if you get inspired. So we have some live artists here doing the work. Yannicka, Karen, are you doing live art, or are you going to show the cards? What are you doing? Live art?
Oh, but the
You're doing
You're
everything.
muted.
Listen,
So-
I'm doing it. I'm drawing right now, and I can jump up and do cards too.
Okay, well, we'll put
Okay.
Karen up there. So,
she's going to be my bouncing factor for me. So the two of us will play off of each other to help facilitate today.
all right, here we go. The first ever live playification, gamification, manifestation, co-creation of the Togetherland pre-ICO, and I'm going to explain why it's different than the normal ICO, and the manifestation of stage 1, the existential prize, where we all share the resources to co-create the world that we want to live in. We stop competing for assets and money, and we just let people compete to give prizes to the existential prize so we can all come out and bring our gifts to the world. Jamin, if you don't mind sharing the screen. Jay, I'm going to have you just walk through the basics of X the game as this version exists. so they know a little bit about what they're looking at.
Sounds
There
good.
we go. Can you see it okay, Jay?
Yeah.
So this is the intention, by the way, Jay, if you don't mind reading out. This is the intention we're coming into the game with.
Oh, nice. A little reframe to inspire co-committed co-creators to join in designing and then launching Togetherland's pre-ICO called the Existential Prize. Love it. And so that's leading into this game is based on intentionality. So everybody who's stepped up to play will add their intention into the group mind. And through the process, we have 3 decks of cards. And the first deck is the life circle, which is really the container for the experience. And let me see if I can just do this way here. I have on my laptop and we're going to, oh, you don't see it because the board is behind me. I got to go off screen share. Excuse me. Let me do that. Karen, you want to explain the relate and challenge while I'm going off of screen share here so we can keep it moving?
Okay, so we're going to be choosing from 3 sets of cards. And the first one, it will be about setting an intention.
Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Actually, what we're looking right here is we're looking at the game, the rule. Can you see the screen share, Karen or Jay? We're actually going over the actual rules
You
and
just
the
want to go
premise
over
of the game
rules.
before the cards.
Okay.
We want to tell people. Yeah, this is important. Yep.
You go.
So again, we're...
Okay, I'm going to read them out. The game is more than a game. It's a powerful communication and relationship building tool. Here are the 8 core elements that make this process work. The power of attracting what we desire, the power of aligning with what we need, the power of declaring our intention, the power of storytelling and listening, the power of connecting with words and imagery, the power of building community, the power of synchronicity, and the power of creativity and fun. What could be better than that? Next, if you could go down, Jamie. Yep. Now here's the basic agreements. The object of this life game is actually to reach your highest potential while helping other players reach theirs. This is the fundamental premise that we're inviting everyone into now and going forward. And here's the core 8 agreements. So all the players on stage, hopefully you're a yes to this. Yeah, if you're not, you got to get off stage. Here's the 8. I am open and authentic as I express myself. I am genuinely supportive as I listen to others. I am aware the choices I make co-create my future. I view each player in the light of their highest potential. I claim responsibility for my actions and reactions. I accept challenges as opportunities for growth. And if you could just scroll down a little bit more, Jamin, for the last 2. Oh, maybe it's, oh, there it is. I hold in confidence all that is shared by others. I declare this game as a safe space to play. So that's the container we have here. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jay to talk about the 3 basic cards that we're going to be using. And then we're going to jump into the game based on that intention, which I put in the Zoom chat, the intention, so we can keep that in our minds. I'll keep putting it in there.
And we have multiple formats for the game. So again, the game are symbols and 3 decks of circular cards. The first one, that's what is again on the board here. And I put it out on the board so when someone wants to pull a card out of the deck, we'll just be pointing at the cards and then you'll tell us to stop and we can pick up that card. The life circle is the core experience card. It's the container for the experience and it could be anything in the universe. So it's a wide range of different aspects of life and we're going to be playing with our basic essential deck today. We also have a relate deck. The relate deck is, there's 2 different sub decks within the relate cards. One is what we call the empowerment words and empowerment tools and devices. So that's again, the container for the relationship building. And then we have the 3rd deck is the challenge deck. And the challenge deck also has 2 sub decks. One is what we call the words of wisdom, and the other is the warning sign. Actually, hang on for 1 second. Reaching over here. So this is the challenge deck. And on the bottom, I'm looking at a warning sign, road closed. It could be a road closed, or or it could be a words of wisdom, which will look like this. Whoops. Okay, so there's two decks, two sub decks in the challenge, and then that's pretty interesting. So I just picked up the deck, and interesting enough, the bottom card was regeneration. So I guess there's the let the synchronicities begin. and then you also have what we call empowerment tools and devices. So we have physical cards here. We have an app. So Karen might be using the app also to pull cards. We'll be having the physical cards that'll be stored here. And we have the online system, which I think what we were talking about, Brett, was that we're going to move everything into that online system to continue the conversation. So this will be like a hybrid with all three different versions of the game. And so, okay. Going into the game.
And we're also using a timer today. So
yeah,
we're also using a timer today. So everyone's got about 88 seconds when they relate to something or challenge something. You've got about 88 seconds, all of us, each of us, so we can have
infinite timer. So we'll do a one-time over. We should be on time this game because there's a lot of people in a short amount of time. So it'll be compressed. So we'll be on track. And as it goes down, we'll give a warning what it does just to finish up. So you don't have to hard stop, but just to finish up, knowing that the 88 seconds is up. Karen, did you want to add anything to where we are, or do we go right into the game? Any questions, or Brett, is there anything else that you want to cover before going into the game?
Let's just get into it. Well, we're going to start with me because I'm kind of on stage. I'm going to set the tone, so it should be pretty evident about the different relate or challenge cards and life circle cards for you all and how it works. So Jay and I will just model it for the first 3 or 4 minutes in a way. So
I'm trying to find the best way to do this. So Brett, what's your intention?
Jay, I want you to pick the cards for people. I don't want us.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Just pick the cards for people. Don't have us try to look at them up.
All right. That'll save some time.
And hold them up to this. Yeah, and hold them up to the screen very closely. Or if Karen has a phone available, we could just use a cell phone so we can really see them very clearly. But
okay, so you want to set your intention for the game, and this is kind of a meta intention for today. Is that kind of where you want to come from with it?
This is a very clear. This is a very clear intention.
Uh-oh.
So how clear could he be?
As I
you froze up there, Brett. So you were very clear.
Oh, am I back?
Yeah.
Okay, so as I said, Jamin is playing, I'm playing, Bart, Dan, Greg, and Mark are all playing. Karen and Jay are facilitating. And as I said, we're part of the Design Science Studio, and there's something called the Design Science Decade that has 5 2-year cycles. The first cycle involves reconciliation and commitment. So my intention is related to the first 2-year cycle of this Design Science Decade. And the intention for this game, and for me, and this game will go on offline and over the months and years, is for this game is to inspire committed co-creators to join with us in designing and then launching Togetherland's pre-ICO called the Existential Prize. So we'll get into through the game about describing that. But the intention is to inspire committed co-creators to join us in designing and then launching it. So it's not just about launching it. I need a central cast of characters and what I call ring masters to help design the strategy and the marketing of it, the story of it, and all of the different things that would go into launching something like a big infinite co-creative onboarding event for the end of this year. And then phase 2 will be the summer of 2022, which is in the decade of design, the iteration of capital transfer. So in the summer of 2022, we will all be standing together in person for a big playified, gamified manifestation event where we announce the full infinite co-creative onboarding into Togetherland, because the existential prize by then will have had billions of dollars in funding, thousands of acres in land, and trillions of dollars in assets and equipment, all gifted so that we may bring alive a world that works for all. And that's what the intention of this game is for today. Go ahead, Jay.
Fantastic. All right, so I'm going to pull a card here. I've been shuffling them up. Just going to pull one out of the middle here. And nice.
And we promise Jay does not build the deck. Everything that comes out is pure synchronicity and, flow.
No, it's my religion. So I'm going to just move in a little bit here. So Brett, looking at the image. So we always first look at the image, and so I'm going to go as close as I can here so you can get the picture, literally. And then we'll go to the words afterwards. So what does that mean to you? Could you see that fairly well?
Yeah, what's on the bottom part? It's like stars and... Okay, I'm good, Jay.
Yeah. So why don't you just riff on it for a couple of seconds on what the image means, and then we'll go to the words of what the game meaning is. Your meaning always goes first, then the game meaning. And then if anybody has something they want to relate or challenge, just go off mute and just say, I want to relate, just say the word relate or challenge. And that will be the cue. And we'll only have a few per person to come in. So if you have something really important that you want to add into the conversation. So what does that mean for you, Brett?
Well, I saw a landscape of stars. So for me, this represents almost an inner verse, an interior set of stars. I'm feeling, and it reminds me of the idea that we're all stars. That's what a co-creator is. A co-creator, I've changed a word to EUR, because a co-creator is a combination of auteur and entrepreneur and philanthropist and healer and co-creator. So what I'm inviting all of these ringmasters to become is these full whole body people with all these different talents. And we are all stars. That's what it brought up for me. That's what I'm looking for all of us to come into our full self-actualization.
So what the game meaning is, it's called Quantum Think. Quantum Think is the title. So every life circle has a title on the top and a task on the bottom, the game interpretation. And this one is make a bridge between worlds. So what does that mean for you?
Make a bridge between worlds, yeah?
Yeah.
So quantum think.
Quantum think.
That's what we're doing here. Quantum thinking. Togetherland is a world beyond transaction. It's a world where sufficiently advanced technologies are indistinguishable from magic. It's finally having us catch up to the science and mysticism that we're all aware of, and the non-dual nature of consciousness and love being the answer. So we are quantum thinkers in Togetherland, and the task is to bridge the next 10 years to be in that place where the world works for all, and to bridge the next year and then the next year, and take step by step and manifest this existential prize. Beautiful.
So what we're going to do here for this process is we're going to have one relate and one challenge per player. So we'll have enough time in that way. If you don't get to say what you want to say, please just write it down. And it could be something on a sidebar that could be given another reflection to Brett or the other players as we go along. But let's just, the strongest one, somebody has the strongest relate and one strongest challenge, that's really coming up that you want to support. Again, Brett in his journey here of manifestation. So who wants to come up with the relate or challenge?
I'm all about relating here. Give it to me. Lean on me. What do I do? How do I relate? I want to play.
Just share. So a relate is, I want to relate something to you. I want to connect with you a little deeper. I want to ask a question. I want to relate from my own background to help you in your journey. So what's your relate to Brett?
Oh, Brett, looking at that card, I'm here. I'm looking out, looking back in. I see you so clearly. We've been playing for years now, and it's coming to this moment of looking out, looking in. With you, I see all the stars on your horizon.
All right, I'm going to pull one of the relate cards now. And, oh, it's one of these guys. Let's see. Which one, left or right? Mark.
Oh, the one in your hand. Yeah, no, the other one. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
That one. Yeah, that one.
Boom. Innocence. So you get to, the person who makes the relate gets to say what it means first, their interpretation. Then Brett will, since he's on stage, will be able to say what it means to him.
Beautiful. Innocence, 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 innocence. We enter curiosity with innocence. We flow through it, and we wonder. We wonder if we've actually looked out that other side of innocence. That sphere of knowing and knowing and not knowing, looking out, looking in. Pop my bubble of innocence.
Nice. Hey, Brett, how about you? What is the innocence as part of your story?
Thank you, Jurgis, for dropping in and playing some music in the background. Oh my God, it's so amazing to play the game. We've never played the game with homegrown organic music. It's freaking beautiful. And you will be
Jurgis.
welcome,
Thank you,
Jurgis, if you want to. If you need to chime in with a relate through singing or a challenge, you just let us know, man.
It's the same.
Innocence. I love innocence. There is something beautiful about innocence, and we shouldn't ever forget that. People say we're ungrounded, we're impractical. You can't do that. You can't make a world that works for all. Oh, yes, we can, and yes, we will. And we must retain some of that innocence. And I think of William Blake and the songs of innocence and poetry, and I'm just loving you all so much. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, innocence is wonderful. Let's never forget it.
Nice. All right, we have a challenge coming. Who wants to take up the challenge role today with Brett on his?
I'm always down to.
There we go. I knew he was going to jump in right in the middle there.
Yeah. So when I saw the stars, and for some reason that image gave me this almost like outreaching desperation, right? And I felt like, as I was setting my intention to play the game, I was thinking about it. Now's the time to start like acting with courage and purpose. Right. And so to put myself in that risk-taking mode, to say, hey, I'm doing, and let's do it and then deal with the consequences. And so when you find yourself underneath the stars at night, things aren't going right. You know, you're in some kind of survival mode. And when you pulled the innocence card, I was like, you only value innocence when you've almost lost it. You know, when you spend that night under the stars and you're vulnerable, that's when you most appreciate the time before you knew that pain. And so to kind of see where the kind of time for struggle, the time for advancement, and how we're kind of shedding some kind of innocence from that to move forward.
Nice. So the challenge is a couple words. What's the challenge?
Oh, we appreciate the innocence by losing it, by risking it.
Nice. So you got a warning sign, the yield sign. So you need to own the challenge, right? It comes back to you. So when you get a warning sign, it's kind of a reframe. You know, what does this mean to me? It's still both ways. So it'll have meaning for Brett, but right now you need to own that challenge or reframe it and incorporate the yield. What does the yield mean as part of that?
I'm reminded of a warning sign I took a picture of in Arabic in Jordan that said, don't go down this path. And I went down that path and it was just like this big, huge thing, right? And of course I didn't yield to the warning sign, but I got a great story out of it. So.
Nice. How about you, Brett?
You know, I said the other day, this card came up in a game. We like to create quantum connections and portals between different games. and it's still here live for me. There was actually a Pearl Jam record called Yield, which was one of my favorite Pearl Jam records. So when I see that warning sign, I actually think of awesome music. Of all things, it's strange, I just think of awesome music. I mean, that's how I relate to that Yield sign. It was on their cover of their album, and I think of making music, making art, and really this Regenaissance and the Design Science Studio and Togetherland, and my reason for being is to be an artivist, to take art and activism, Greg, right? So to risk the innocence through artivism, and I will yield. As Jay said in that game, I'm yielding to this intention. I am not settling for less. We will build a non-transactional, co-creative living system of co-creation that works for all. And Togetherland will be a catalyst for that. It won't be the full answer or the final answer, but I'm yielding to that intention and that vision. I'm not going to build anything less than that level of experience and existence that we want to share. So that's what came up for me.
Oive, can I relate to that with a Webster's dictionary to the word yield is a gradual course correction. So right on.
Nice.
So I have something to add. We have the bridge between worlds and the sphere of innocence happening. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's my.
Yep.
Does that relate? Or is
That's
that an outburst?
It's relate. I'm really going to relate. I picked up on many
I'm
things you were all saying.
going to pull the relate card. We did technically say that we were just going to do one challenge
I know.
relate, but since we're
I'm adding
facilitating, so bottom line, we're going to add one more.
Well, so checks and balances. The talking about the risk, risking innocence. You don't want to risk it all, so that you can always retain that kernel and that seed, so that you could always repropagate with something that you've held dear to yourself. So risk, but not risk at all. That's what it means to me.
Okay, Brett, you want to tie it together here, and then you'll get to choose who's next.
Checks and balances, that's what I'm talking about. Holonic cryptocurrencies, SEES, holonic cryptocurrencies. This is how we get to the non-transactional. Checks and balances are for dinosaurs. Checks and balances are for the 20th century, man. We're going way beyond that. We're going with Holochain. We're going with GaiaNet, my boys at GaiaNet there. We've got the Design Science Studio. We've got X the Game. We've got everything we need for the real check and balance. We're going to check and balance the destruction and separation on the planet. That's what we're going to check and balance. It ain't about economics.
So which color do you want this to be represented in? Because it's going to be, again, I'm putting each of the player will have a space on our 8-color game board. This is the pocket portal, we call it. Which space do you want to have your cards, Brett, for this play?
I'm going with aqua.
Okay. And in the meantime, you get to choose who's next in line here. Who's the next player that you want to make a bridge to?
Dan. I'm going to put Dan. X marks the spot on Dan.
Here we go. So what's up?
Jay.
All right,
give
Dan.
him a cue, Jay.
Yep, Dan. So your intention for today's play, what's your intention? And it could be, again, it could be riffing off of Brett's intention, or your intention that you're holding now. At whatever depth you want to go. What's most important for you today?
I completely resonate with what Brett shared, because it was like he was speaking for me, completely resonating. I am dreaming of a world where we all share each other's superpowers by, supporting the best parts of ourselves and recognizing that we are all of the same origin and we are one family, we're one planet. Everything's alive, also the planet is alive. So My intention for this game is to remember our connection to everything, and to remember our connection to whatever you want to call it, whether you want to call it the Great Spirit or the Great Mystery or the Source or just the universe. I mean, we all have our meaning for something unfathomable, and my intention is for remembering that as a species through this game, and joining Brett in his adventures while Brett's joining our adventures in the next 10 years to come, to really completely transform this planet into something radically magical and natural and easy and flowing that works for everybody. Because I believe that's quite simple. Aho.
Nice. Thank you. So let me pull a card here. And we got the black hole.
Ooh.
This is a wild card. This is one of the highest cards in
Ooh.
the deck here. You got the black hole.
Oh.
So just, there we go. So what does that mean to you in the case of your intention today? How's that tied together?
That means quite a few things. It means the void, the space beyond the emptiness, where we have access to infinite possibilities that is beyond the laws of physics or how we have learned how creation works, which is maybe even something hidden for a very long time on the planet. That is very interesting, but not the darker side of that part of creation. But the black hole is like this void represents us. Look to the place where there's light and don't get sucked into the black void, because the new thing that will be created has never happened before in the whole universe. So that is a representation of, yes, we can, I guess, for our next 10 years. Hey.
So the task is called the Wild Black Hole card, and it is one of the wild cards. And it's to absorb another life circle card or any card on the playing field. Place the Wild Black card on top of it and go to isolation. So you're the first person going into isolation today.
Uh-oh.
We've all been trained for a whole year and a half now, but the game has been doing it for 40 years. We call it isolation. And so you're going to go in, but if you want to come out, so you're going to go into a listen mode. So you have to be listening now. And after you, again, we're going to somebody's going to come in. I'm sure we have a couple challenges there and have a relate. But this makes also the bridge card, because there's only 4 cards. So you have to choose. So before you go in, where do you want this connected to? Is it the yield card? Is it the innocence? Is it the quantum think? Or the register? That's going to be your connection card and connecting to Brett's intention.
But what does that do? Does it make that other card obsolete or something? It sucks it into the black hole? What?
It's like bringing it into the black hole. So it's connecting. It's like it's a connection card.
Okay, and what are the options one more time where I can put it?
Hang on, let me go grab it.
On the yield or the...
You have the yield, you have the register, you have innocence, and you have the quantum think.
I'm going to go for innocence, man.
Innocence. All right. And what color do you want to play in? Either green or indigo? Green. So the innocence is going to go on that side, and that ties it in, and the black hole is in green. And we don't cover it totally when I play, because I like seeing what's underneath it, but it's sucked in innocence. You have innocence in your field there. So with that being said, challenges and relates. Who wants to bring in the first challenge, or first relate, or only relate?
And you can challenge anything, by the way. You can challenge a card, something someone said. You can challenge a player. You can challenge the game itself. You can challenge life. It doesn't matter.
And anybody here can be challenging and relating. The players that have stepped up were to do their intention. So everybody is still open that if you have a relate or challenge, you can bring that in.
All right.
Jamin in. Thank you for coming, Jamin.
Oh, goodness. Thank you so much for having me. Hello and love and connection to everyone. I want to relate to what Dan said about remembering our connection to everything. And of course, that includes everyone. And remembering that we are all one. And that also relates to innocence. You know, when you're just a newborn baby, you are the universe. The universe is you. You're all connected. It is all one. There is no separation. Remembering that brings us back to innocence, and remembering that connection and living that connection builds the bridges. The bridges between all of us is the foundation for the bridge between us and the future. And it includes as bridges, not just to all of us people, but all living beings, and all of us eating plant-based foods only, so that we're not eating our brothers and sisters, thus bringing us even deeper into this innocence and really building a bridge that all beings, all creatures can walk across and share in. And then that relates to feeding everyone plant-based foods as one of the first things that we take on as a challenge, that we make sure everyone has plenty to eat, no one is left behind. And with that, I'm provisionally complete and just so excited to be here and connected with all of you. Let's keep these connections going onward through time with no stop, no checks and balances. Don't check it, just feel it, live it, be it, and continue on. That's the innocence. We are all one. You're listening to yourself talking. We are one. Thank you.
So what is your perspective of this card that we just pulled for you, the Relate card? It's a napkin, right? It's called Napkin Idea. So what does that mean as part of your connection here to Damon?
Yeah. So the first thing is when we sit down to eat, we all eat together. We all have napkins, and so it's about all of us having plenty to eat ongoingly. And it's also something that we draw on. So as we're eating, as we're sharing together, sharing food, we also share ideas. You know, you go to a restaurant, you start writing on the back of a napkin because there's nothing else to write on. And so it's also that innocent free flow that there's, you know, it's not a homework assignment. It's not something you're going to submit for grading or anything like that. It's just sketch it out, let it flow. So it's food, friends, and fun. I guess McDonald's had it right after all, except for the beef and chicken part. But anyway, yeah, we're just flowing with it.
So Dan, normally if you weren't in isolation, you would be now saying what it means to you, but hold on to it, because you're going to wrap it together after your cards come out and we get the challenges and relates, then you'll be able to pull it all together. You still get that opportunity. Okay. But right now it's just sitting with it. All right. So a challenge.
I want to relate to that, Jay. I want to relate to that quick, Jay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
For me, it's all about that blueprint on the napkin. And that's what we're here today for. We've got a seed idea that I want to share with all of you and the world. Most of you already know a lot about me or some of my ideas, but that's it. It's that blueprint on the napkin space. And how do we get from the blueprint on the napkin, this idea for an infinite co-creative onboarding, the idea for cryptocurrencies, uplifting the NFT space. We've got 320 cards in this deck that have words, images. You can add sound to NFTs. You can add videos. So that 320 card deck alone can create so much art. It's ridiculous. So I gave the format earlier. I hope some people will check it out. But I will follow up with everyone and all this. But that's what the next step for me is to take the blueprint on that napkin. And Jurgis is playing beautiful music. Polly's out there playing a song. There's people making live art. We are gamifying, playifying the trip to 2030. No more business meetings and all that stuff. Like, we're actually like, I mean, it's only going to get more and more fun. So I just wanted to relate to that napkin. That's what this space, this game is actually about. It's exploring that napkin and the seed blueprint, for sure.
Are you sure it's a relate, or because I pulled the challenge card, is the relate challenge card that you got? So, and a big mouth bass right
So
there.
What does that mean, Jay, when the relay card actually says challenge?
Well, it's kind of reframing. The game is saying you might want to consider this not or you've said what the relate is, but what's the challenge in it as well?
Okay, challenge. I've got it, no problem. I challenge everyone out in Facebook land. I challenge everyone on Zoom land to follow up with Art Bretminster full of it. Get this form and start playing the game and creating these assets. I walked around Poole, UK today where I was, and there was a big painting on the wall that said independent and together. I took pictures everywhere. You can walk around, even if you're not the greatest graphic artist or painter or musician, get your camera out and tell the story, the experience of you where you live. There's warning signs everywhere. There's words of wisdom everywhere, your favorite quotes, your favorite pioneers. I saw so many cool signs on my walk today. I took 20 pictures. I even found one that said coming soon, infinity. And I took a picture of it. So like, we have everything we need again. And the challenge is, I'm challenging everyone, and I'm hoping it's my plus card. We're going to pull the challenge card. A plus means the challenge goes out to everyone. And if it's a minus, the challenge comes back to me. So let's see. But I'm challenging everyone to get in the game.
Yeah, Brett, when he gets between the challenge and the relate, watch out. Just watch out.
So what's the road there? What's the road closed?
Oh, road closed.
So you have to own that challenge. Coming back to you.
I own that challenge. What is it? What does it mean? What does it mean? I'm in it. I don't know. I don't even know what that means, actually. I'm going to have to challenge the game to say that's a bunch of BS. Because there is no road closed. I'm taking up the challenge. I'm on this call. I've invited some of my favorite people. I've been taking pictures. There's no road closed for me. I challenge the game to give me something better. Pull another challenge card. Let's go, Jay.
Actually, can I relate to you? I might answer some, I'd like to add a relate into it instead of going down the rabbit hole of challenging the challenges. And just that in this world, I mean, kind of the road is closed. This is like an opening. What you're talking about is like a new birth. This is a new birth that's happening in our world. And so the road closed is we're all living in that. Our cities are closed down, our schools, all this crazy shit going on. And we're reframing the whole world at the same time in a positive way. So, for me, it was the road closed is, that's, you're owning it. You're owning that road closed to do what you're doing and to bring all these people together. So I just wanted to relate it.
Obstacles are a sign that you're on the right path.
And here's the relate that I got to go with it, which is this is our coat of arms, and it's our traveler from the future and the center and heaven and earth. And this is the opening of the road right here. We've been waiting for this time. So because the roads are closed. Oh my God, more than ever in my whole life and all of everybody's life. But what we're doing with it is what's fantastic. And this is our coat of arms for this game. And you're so much part of it, Brett. It's, you're from the future as well. And you're that traveler right there. So don't worry. It's not just a physical close down. Any other, did you still want to challenge the game? Or are you okay with that?
I wanted to say that the coat of arms looks like Burning Man went to the Rainbow Gathering.
There we go. Good outburst.
Can I jump in and relate? This is more
well, we're moving out
we're
of.
Gonna riff first.
Okay, so Brett, I just wanted clear communication that we're going beyond the 40 minutes is going to happen because we're only on player 2 and we're
still fun. We're still having fun.
As long as it's okay with you, I'm good. I'd love to go down the rabbit hole. Okay, good. All right. Who's gonna? Someone else want to relate?
Friends, we've gathered here together on this thin rep. I'm gonna say I think Mark wanted to have a relate or speak, and then Jurgis, in case you have any songs or you want to lead us on a couple minutes of some exercise, I would open that to you, but you don't have to. Mark, did you want to share something?
Yeah, and I love it when Jurgis plays with me because it just makes it all that much more fun. And what I want to relate to is what you are all doing is that open road. You guys are here. You've stepped aboard Regen Era. We've lifted off this week. We are not on any road. There is no clear path. We are floating above Earth. We are looking up, looking back down to see what we have to work with, where we can go, and where we can flow. And I love that about this game because it brings up so many different possibilities. And of course, roadblocks. But nonetheless, we're able to leap with our imaginations. There is no road closed. Envision. I love it. This is where we are. We're at the moment.
That's the relate card that we pulled for you.
Thank you.
So Dan, you're soon going to be on stage here to put this all together for us and tell us this whole story. But Mark, what does that mean for you?
Envision. Again, I go back to looking out, looking in. That moment when there's a clarity of sorts, an epiphany, that capital E that sets us free. That's what envision means to me.
Nice. All right. So Dan, you ready to come out of isolation?
I don't know what I've missed because I was in isolation. So,
well, the isolation is kind of meditation is isolation. It's a time of going in and just reflecting. In this case, kind of going deeper into the experience of what has been coming up through everybody as part of your play. So you're coming out of the black hole, right? So you have the black hole. You have a you got the napkin idea. You had a challenge. You had a road closed. You have an envision card, and ending up in our coat of arms.
Yeah.
So you want to tell us the story of tie it into your intention and bring it all together out of the black hole?
Sure. So I guess like all great ideas start on napkins probably. And also people who radically want to change the world. So that's how stories are made up. And yeah, I think, what was the second one that came by? There were so many, man.
Yeah. So we had the napkin idea. We had the challenge. The road closed. Yeah, those two.
Well, like in order to bring such a plan or something that we write up and that we create a story about into reality, we're often faced with a lot of challenges. Limiting beliefs, other people that are sabotaging it, just natural things that happen, tests and challenges of life. And they may appear as if the roads are closed, but yeah, it's all about finding people around us to make it happen, like what Brad's looking for, what we're looking for with Guy, and people who really believe and envision this new world being possible. And as long as we believe enough, and as long as we recognize that we are not only one, we are also part of a certain color, of a certain tribe. There are so many beautiful tribes on this world, so many differences between the people that need to be celebrated in their uniqueness in order to play that symphony together that will make this creation happen, you know? It's like in Bill and Ted 3 play the music when everybody at the end have their instruments and you gotta make the symphony happen.
Excellent.
And vision it together, you know? It's gonna be great and joyful, and then all the colors of the rainbow will be together in this magical creation of this constellation where everybody knows who they are, and we celebrate our uniqueness and our strengths and support each other with the things that we like to help each other with, because we are abundant and we're just gifted.
Nice. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
So Dan, you get to now choose who's next out of the players.
Who do we have left as players? Greg, Bart, who else is playing?
Greg,
I would love to see Bart. Yeah, let's go. I'll pass it on to my brother in blue, Bart.
Brother in blue, thank you so much.
Yeah, right. You guys are like totally connected there in your...
We're totally in the same space. Yeah,
I get it.
So I can completely dream on what's being created here. So my intention for this game is to create the unexpected. Like we are dropping in here, dropping into the unexpected and let unfold whatever wants to unfold, not knowing beforehand, but just letting the joy guide the way, following our highest bliss and letting go whatever has been before and step into this new reality and make it an inspiration for others to create their own path and create whatever they want to create in the world and do what they love to do. And from there, only magic can be the essence of the world that we will live in. I hope.
So I pull out this card here and What does that mean for you on the image? And then I'll tell you the words in a second.
What it means for me?
Yeah.
Is that if we go back to our core, our strength, the stem, and grow from there, you get a lot of beauty.
Nice.
That's what it means to me.
So you pulled the spiritual health card. This is spiritual health. And the task is practice an attitude of gratitude. Practice an attitude of gratitude. So how does that tie into your story now?
Well, like if everybody starts living from their core, from their strength.
Oh, a little frozen in time.
On, Dan, am I still on? Yeah, I'm still on.
There you go.
And expressing gratitude for the beauty that everybody brings. And whatever we express gratitude to, that's what we get more of. So that's a perpetual process that will grow this beautiful and magical world into existence.
Nice. Which color do you want to play in today?
Orange.
There you go. All right. Challenges and relates. Who wants to add in to Bart's story? Anybody going to step up? Give us their first relate or challenge?
I can relate to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you want to say the relate first, or do you want to look at, just as one of the instructions, the relate, you can say, I just want to relate, and you get a card, and then you have to relate through that card. Or you could say what you want to say and then see the synchronicity out of it. So if you have something you want to say, it's more fun.
Yeah, I'll go for option B. Try that.
Okay.
Yeah, I can really relate. We recently draw something for GaiaNet about people to know themselves. And we drew a diamond with the sun on it, shining the light. And in a way, that's how I relate to this. If we really embrace ourselves and see our inner light, our core, we shine outward. We shine this light onward to others. And that's when we show our most beautiful part. So, relate to that.
To get a little first aid. What does that mean to you, Dan?
That means health comes from that shining your light inwards, from your spiritual health and your gratitude and recognizing your beauty. Your body will thrive.
Nice. And Bart, what does that? How about you? What does that mean for you, as part of your play?
I think it's like the health of the planet and everything around us starts with ourselves, and health is the primal thing that we have to take care of. And if we are healthy, our surroundings is healthy, and thriving ecosystems emerge.
Nice. All right. Anybody going to step up with the challenge? Who's got the challenge here to support Bart on his journey?
I think I had one, Jay, but I might have lost it. Because hold on. Repeat what you said real quick, just to summarize it again, Bart, so I can grab it.
Your intention. Why don't you bring back your intention, Bart?
No, just what you were talking about, the first aid and the health. Oh, the
about
being.
health,
okay.
That's the essence, yeah.
Yeah, so it's really been helping me look at holons as almost like a backpack that you're feeding your own information to. And as we think about this decentralized web that we're entering, and we think about piling all of our data and how that means to journal, right? And so like this new realm of completely keeping a historical record of who you are, which help you be more diagnostic, more self-aware, more aware of your role against all other relationships. And so it's been really fun to kind of like think of what it's going to be like to feed your own data set and to then be that conscious of who you are and what you're interacting with in your relationship. And that's going to be the shift in the oblique in the new system, that your relationships are going to matter and not how much you've hoarded.
Nice. Oh, interesting. So I pulled that's the highest card in the challenge deck, is actually reframing to it, just like Brett went the other way. So this is a challenge, but it's the relate. So you want to reframe that into a relate, and then we'll pull a relate card. So.
Okay, is that on me?
Yeah.
Right? Relate as well. Yeah. So basically it comes down to the number one priority in the next economy is going to be self-improvement. It's going to be yourself that is the most immediate in front of you. It's the one you're going to work on the most. And that's how the world gets better from the bottom up. It's not some UN policy. It's going to be a system in which we all work on ourselves first. And that kind of ripples out in this new kind of like change like that.
Change like that. So Greg, you're up first. Kind of there's the obvious, or you just say what it is, and then Bart will say what it is.
Yeah. So if you think, and I like that. This is what I was going to say too about the challenge and relate of this game. That I envision an evolution of the like and dislike button through challenge and relate. And if you think about the principles of mutual credit, that if somebody puts an intention out and you challenge and relate it, that you can get double points because you're flushing the network at 0 and you're seeing both sides. And I always want to see a rebranding of the game toward children, because I think I always felt like a consciousness game. Yeah, not for me. I don't want to see both sides. I'm set in my ways. I'm an adult, right? My kids, I would train my kids to see both sides, and imagine the conversation among the youth if they're kind of trained always to see something and see both sides of the story and try to relate and challenge everything they see. That'd be a powerful shift in the way people see each other and problems and ideas.
Nice. Good one. So Bart, how about you? What's the transformation for you in your story?
So one conclusion is that the transformation of the world starts with the transformation in ourselves, our self-improvement, and that self-improvement can only start once we are self-aware. And for this self-awareness, we need others and duality to make that visible, to mirror that to ourselves. So we need each other to become self-aware, to improve and transform ourselves, to transform the world.
Nice, beautiful. Any last words? Anybody else have a relate or challenge before we have Bart to wrap it up? Go ahead, Brett.
Just real quick, that just brought it to a new level to me to understand that we'll be defined by our relationships, our relationship to self, our relationship to others, our relationship to infrastructure, our relationship to the environment. And with this software, we can measure all of that. And that's what's going to be the shift in consciousness. And we're not going to see our peers and other humans and the other perspectives, even the trees, not as competition, but it's going to be the definition of how we define ourselves.
Nice. Okay, Brett, you had something you wanted to add in?
Yeah, we're going to have to hit the home stretch, unfortunately, but we're going to do this again, and we're going to refine it and all that. In the future, we'll have a bunch of these all the time. So don't worry, everyone. We're going to make it even better and all that. So Jay, figure out a way to somehow start going towards a conclusion. It doesn't have to be the next minute, but we definitely need to start going in that direction.
Okay. Well, if you want to tie it together, Bart, that'll be first off, and then. So one more player, or that's Bart's the last player for today?
Right. I don't think we should do one more player. I think we should.
Okay, good.
Have Bart finish and then find a way to us all to relate to the last life card or something like that.
Well, the way we'll put one final card that ties them all together, and then I'm going to ask everybody, including the non-players, if they choose to to say a word. We call it the past word. And this will be your ticket back into the game. In the future version, you'll need to have that as your past word to get into this experience, to get back in. So everybody think of one word, and we're going to do it all at just popcorn style. But first, Bart, what's your tie together your story, and then we'll pull a final card.
All right, let's keep it brief. I'd say play the game, transform yourself, transform the world.
All right, final card. Nice. I love it. We got the wild card. This is called the Nature of the Game Wild Experience. Realize your wildest dream and highest potential now. Here we go, people. All right. So with that being said, as tying all of the other stories, all the cards that have been pulled, all the players, everybody gets to put in, if they choose to, one word. It could be hyphenated also. Mm-hmm. Popcorn style, just come in, unmute, and you have to unmute. I think a few people have said something. I saw the mouse.
Preposterous.
All right.
Do.
Transfiguration.
Presence.
Luminous.
Fun.
Together.
Regeneration.
Easy.
Liminal.
Regenaissance.
Jurgis and Pollyanna. What are the notes? What would the note be or the riff be?
That's a question. Jurgis, step on in. Jurgis, you have a special gift. And I'd like you to present us. You've been listening intently, strumming along, and I know you have something in mind that you might want to share with us. To take us.
Yes, indeed. And here's the thing. Yesterday, Mark, you expressed gratitude to me for helping unlock something in you, right? And that was really beautiful. But I said that you had that in you all the time. But that's the way it is with doors. I mean, that you have a door or you have a door doesn't mean you have the key, and vice versa, right? So I feel that you have also served as a key to me. And one of those keys, or the form of the key, is your beautiful poem, which has been bouncing back and forth in this space, in this cranium of mine, which begins something like, a leprechaun, tell me an age-old story. And so I find that that key, which unlocks something in me, also serves maybe as an encryptive key, some form of protocol handshake, which needs to be completed by the person who put it in my brain, and the only person who can resolve the rest of the riddle.
Beautiful. Thank you. Any final words?
Let everybody go.
Chrysalis.
Somebody's got some words.
Thank you all. This has been a great experience here. Looking forward to follow up and do it again. And did we lose Brett?
No, Brett's here. He's here. And what we want to do is thank you all. Jai, I'm sure Brett's got plenty of gratitude moments that he'd like to take with each and every one of you. You've answered his call, his highest dreams. And speaking of being high, we are up here, lofty, above planet Earth, in the noosphere, sharing our sense of story, our sense of mind, our ability to imagine, to co-create, to be together, to support Brett in his infinite realities that he knows is possible. And with that, I welcome you all to continue beaming with us. We're going to be here for another 45 minutes. We're going to be smiling with each other. We're going to be talking story. We're going to be singing song. We're going to be jamming. We're going to be here wondering what's in mind. Wonder with us.
And this portal will be shared online, so it could be a continued conversation. So keep the game going, making those relates, those connections, the challenges to support each other and setting on tensions on a regular basis and to support each other in our highest. So thank you for being those light agents, and thank you, Jurgis and Pollyanna, and all the artists that have been creating. Thank you, Karen. I can't wait to see all of your artwork of what came out of this session, and to be continued, ... Thank you.
How juicy. I can't wait to suck on this aftertaste. Brett, you've had some wonderful guests here today. They've transformed your idea into a reality that is now manifesting. What would you like to share with us in this very moment?
Yeah. The attitude is gratitude. Yeah. I want to thank everybody who showed up to play and share space all week, my whole life. That last card, like, this is it for me now. This is fun. We've got music playing. We've got games going on. We've got intentions. We've got art. We've got beauty. We've got, obviously, most importantly, a heart. My people have always been heart-based people that come from their heart. Authenticity, and eccentricity and exquisiteness. And as you said, Jurgis, when you introduced me the other day, we're all quite multidimensional and quite eccentric. We're all lost hippies in one way or another, a lot of us. And we're here now. That card said, actualize now. So for me, this has been a now moment, and it's something that can inspire me on a personal level to keep going and to see possibilities, as that card said, and to understand how to refine the vision, refine my craft, and how to invite people to co-create, because it's good for them and it's good for me and it's good for you and it's good for them and us and everyone. So I'm just really feeling like I found my groove. A few weeks ago, I said I was confused. I didn't know what I should do. Like, I was trying to raise money again for like a project. And I was like, but I like to talk. I like to tell stories. I like to create things. So I'm going to let the other stuff sort itself out. And this is my groove. And I'm really happy to have spent this time with all of you. Thank you for having the patience out there. Thank you for rolling with Zoom and all this good stuff. I am forever grateful. And of course, because of NFTs, this is all going to go down for posterity. And I'm sure some lovely person out there will pay $70 million for this, just like they paid $70 million for some guy's painting, because this $70 million is going to go a heck of a lot further than into somebody's bank account. So we've got a brilliant, brilliant thing. And most importantly, it's a heart space. So thank you so much, everyone. I really will always remember this moment. So thank you. I feel like it's a birthday. I feel like it's my birthday. It's a kind of birthday. Yeah.
Regenesis.
Yeah.
Regenesis.
We call it the regeneration movement also. That's, for years, we've been calling it the regeneration movement. It's not the X gen, Y gen, the me generation, the we generation. It's the regeneration that wins the war, that wins this world back over again. So thank you for doing that work.
So, anybody else? I would like, again, to reset the room, but I'd like to ask my friend Jurgis if you can do that. If you can just remind us where we are. We're floating here in the musical city of Regenera.
We are here, we are present with one another. We are playing with art as if it has higher meaning. And yet, we are not giving it too much meaning. We're keeping shit nice and simple and real. We are appreciating the things that matter. such as connection, such as friendship, such as the earth, and anything that matters to anyone here. We believe we need another narrative to inspire, and we have found in each other regenerative emotions, regenerative ideas, and all kinds of beautiful things. We have found personalities, peoples, and other human beings, imaginations and dreams which we would like to cohabitate and yeah.
Cohere?
And cohere, visit. I don't know. As I said, I'm not taking myself too seriously. I'm just, it's a pleasure to share space with you guys.
So
was that okay?
That was it. Anybody want to add to the gentle wrap of where we are and what we're doing? Jump on in. This is wordplay at its best.
Makes me want, you know what? It makes me want to lay down a beat. Should I lay down a beat for somebody? Actually, put the guitar down.
Yeah, lay down a beat.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you a story about intention. Actually, this is good. I like this because you need a beat for intention, don't you? You got to feel the pulse. You gotta be in the groove. You got to notice that you're alive to have intention, right? And so this is my story about intention. It's a true story. I was 14. It was 1970. It was the middle of the design science decade that Bucky instigated in 1965. We are here right now at the regenesis of the design science decade for the decade of the 20s. And we have an idea in mind that there is a way to cross this threshold, this liminal space betwixt and between that story of separation and the notion of being together. And so I was in Japan, and I was a little boy. I was 14, and believe it or not, I found a photo just the other day when we were packing to move into a geodesic dome. Now, how this happened, I'm still not sure, but it's connected to being in Japan, where I had this photo of myself standing in front of a mirrored pavilion at this World Expo in 1970, and behind me was a geodesic dome. Go figure. One of the first to be exhibited as such, because it was an experiment in art and technology. It was the heat exhibit. And inside, you went in there and you looked up, and there was a giant sphere. And you saw yourself looking back down, except in a different context, because you could see everyone else. And that was the notion of the overview effect. Remember in 1968, you saw the planet floating in space for the first time. Those astronauts brought back that sense of awe. So I was there in Japan at this World Expo that had some kind of title like Harmony and Progress for Mankind. Very lofty. There was all sorts of technologies and fascinating things there. From there, we went to Hiroshima. And I saw the utter devastation of man's creativity. I saw time stopped at the moment that bomb was dropped at ground zero. I saw the pain and suffering that's reflected in the origami birds made by children every year for those that were lost. And what I realized at 14 was that sense of intent was all we've got. And we better wake up for what we've got and how we're going to deal with it. So I ask you, what triggered your sense of intent? What got you here right now in the Design Science Studios Regen Era being right here, right now, in this very moment?
someone wants to jump in, go ahead. I can share, but I want to open up the space.
Haley.
I'll jump. 22 years old, Boulder, Colorado, biking rather, up the hill past the library. I had to stop. I laid in the grass at the library, overwhelmed by the sense of suffering I felt. Felt like all beings suffering simultaneously, human, more than human. It was a beautiful sunny day. And I just felt such a deep degree of pain within me. I had no clue before that I was potentially an empath. And I had been taught to not be by the systems that were built to educate us to be cogs in this machine that is hyper dysfunctional and long bankrupt. Ultimately, that's what got me here today. That experience.
Ain't life grand.
Thank you so much.
Ain't life grand. Where it will take you. You never know where you're gonna go. Let's hear some more of that intention. That intention brought you here.
I feel compelled to speak.
Oh, what's up?
Oh no, you can go. I'm very new to all of this, so.
Oh, no
Okay.
problem. This is my first time tuning into Beaming Regenera. So I guess what brought me to this space specifically was just curiosity. Yeah, I feel like a lot of things that I do are driven by curiosity. And I feel like a baby every single day. I feel like I'm learning every single day that I wake up. I'm learning so much, and it's just a gift to be learning so much every day. And yeah, so I've been thinking about the idea of input and output a lot recently as well, and that balancing those two things. So I guess my curiosity is driven by a want to just take everything in all the time, and that's input. But I also need to balance that with output and letting my creative juices flow. So I'm kind of toying around with that idea, and just thought I would bop in and see what's going on over here. So thank you guys.
You've come with so much intention, only to be discovered in the moment. Here's your intention.
Yeah.
So, my intention is holographically being expressed as we talk at the same time, but about the same things in different ways through our own perspectives. I've never spoken to a beat before, but now that I'm doing it, I'm like, why have I not done this before? It's pretty awesome. My intention is not to take over this with my epic story, but just to say that ever since I was a kid, I saw what a future could be. And ever since I was an adult, I felt I was crazy for thinking that. And only recently have I reconnected with the fact that I was always channeling into a kind of future, which did make me go insane. But from the depths of that and the tragedy of being in a world that doesn't match what you know it could be, the beat disappeared, and so I don't know if you're hearing me. Maybe this is just for myself, or maybe this is for you. I don't know how much you guys just heard.
Christopher, you're coming in loud and clear. Your beam
Awesome.
is strong. It's penetrating each and every one of us as we journey along.
Great. So all that to say that this is the story I've always been living. And so this group of people, while they're new, they're also eternal. And we're all on a mission, so to speak, to bring about that world because we wanted to, not because we have to. We decided to come here and do this and be here right now, discovering and unveiling and revealing the world that we've always known was real because it was real. It just hasn't been acclimated to now because we have not chosen it, and now we are.
Thank you.
I love this synergistic space that's being created, this portal of consciousness. I love playing with bright stars that have landed on this earth and are connecting together to make this planet a better place. And it's just an honor to be with you all and to play with our traveler brothers and sisters. Thank you, Brett, for being one of the leads in the traveler movement, working our way backwards from the future to now. We're not just moving forward, we're moving backwards in time as well to try to heal and evolve this planet and ourselves and to just move to a whole nother dimension. We're living now in the fifth dimension. I don't know about you guys, but we're living in the fifth dimension. The third dimension, we can go drop down to that, but we're living in the fifth dimension. That's what 2020 was about. And we're there. So now it's just next steps for all of us to manifest this heaven on earth that we've been promised for so long. And blessings to you all. I have to go off, and I have another tribe that I'm connecting with, our virtual reality team that's going to connect in and now take what Brett is doing here and bring it into the next level of virtual and augmented reality so we can even come together in a whole nother level. And so I appreciate you all. Stephanie, good seeing you. Haven't seen you for a while. And Jurgis and some new friends here and old friends, and it's just such a blessing. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
By the way, Jay.
Thank you, Jay. Yeah. Love you guys.
It's good to see you. We've never really had much time to interact. We've never had much time to really speak, and so it's really cool for us to be able to kind of like spend time like this. It's really cool. I'm very grateful. Here. See, the universe is marvelous. The fifth dimension is full of all these portals. Ain't that great? Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
I'm so happy.
Be continued, guys. Be continued.
Hey, thank you. You've set us off on a journey. We look forward to continuing it with you.
Thank you. We're here. I'm part of it. Thank you. Thank you.
To the game. Well. Thank you, Jay.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
As long as the beat's playing, let's keep it going, huh?
But I must apologize. I have to go. I have 3 more sessions today. And I need to keep a little bit of flow. Because at one moment there, I felt something was opening me up inside. And I was exploring new dimensions. And I could not hide my excitement. And there's a very beautiful word. It's kind of like my little impish desire to play. But unfortunately, I must put him away for a little bit. But I'll be back. Yeah, I'll be back and we shall jam some more. Yeah, we're gonna jam some more. You can be sure we're gonna jam like never before. Yeah.
You're good. Love you. We'll see you later.
Thank you, Jurgis. Great jamming with you, bro.
It's a pleasure.
We'll see you soon.
It's so nice.
Our wayward minstrel from Regenera. Oh, Brett. Wow. What an exploration. What a journey. That was quite something. I had no idea what to expect. I am not much of a game player. And it started this morning. We did this Socratic dialogues thing where it was also about deep listening. And I found this journey to completely tie it together from being open to the exercise that we did this morning with the group of that deep listening and wandering with the story from our presence of mind through that listening. And here it was kind of coached, but through the synchronicity of the game parts and components, like to have a word pop up that seemed to express what everybody had just said. What is it about the mind that does that to us?
I'll just pop in now, Ray, because I've sat here watching for a while, and I always think of each of us as being part of this thread, and the thread just is not one color; it's many colors. And so this game is like the shuttle that spins across. And so this is not a Zoom call; it's a Loom call.
You just got the Word of the Day award for playing with our wordplay. Thank you. Dave, where are you calling in from, if I may ask?
So I'm in New Zealand.
Okay. By the way, my brother's name is Dave Smith. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, that brings me to my story, because I always thought, Dave Smith, I was statistically the most average person in the country. 2.3 children, state house, government job, blah, blah, blah. My mother was a Jones. And so, I thought I was pretty average, but then there was this sort of magic thing going on. As a game designer and somebody that hung out with all the weird kids, we had a real collection of alternate thinkers and doers and strugglers and whatnot. And when my grandmother died, I never looked into because we're made of this DNA, and this DNA is really rich. And the thing that really got me was that each one of us think we're so average, we're so common, we're just another little speck. But, we are those diamonds inside the coal. And was when my grandmother died, there was a photo of her sitting on her grandfather's knee. And I was driving through a small town, and I had this sudden need to walk into a library. And I walked into a library, walked to the back of the library, pulled a book out of the library, opened it up, and there was that photo of my grandmother on this guy's knee. So this is really kind of a freaky thing. But there was a chapter in the book about this Captain Newton. And so it took me into this DNA, this history of Captain Newton and his friendship with Robert Louis Stevenson, and how they shared stories, and Treasure Island, which had all of these metaphors and meaning. But then it took me further into his grandfather, John Newton, who wrote Amazing Grace, and how my life has all been around ending slavery or enslavement. And of course, John Newton and William Wilberforce combined music and politics together to end slavery. And it was that combination of art and science and politics and thinking that sort of led me on this journey to think that somewhere in my DNA and each of our DNA, there's all of this richness and history of what has made us who we are today and what we could possibly be in the future. And because it was such a magical journey to find this thread, this connection, it has to have some sort of meaning, and that it made meaning out of all of these feelings that have put me on this path for the last 20 years, despite the struggle, despite living on plain rice and stuff like that, because it wouldn't be bought. And so this game to me is that loom that brings these things together, that allows us to enter this liminal space of randomness and find this richness out of the things that pop up that aren't structured in a sort of a formal way. So it's helping me pull together all of the different things that are the parts of my life and finding a way to facilitate these so that we can create something rich. So that's where I end up.
Beautiful. Well, we're so happy to have you here. And Dave, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to set a little context. And we've been asking folks this question, and I think you'll have a good answer for us, at least something playful. We're beaming. The word beam in this context of what we're doing came out of this experience of working together and figuring out how we're going to emit all of these ideas out to the world. And beaming fell into place, and it's an acronym for Backcasting Evolutionary Alliance Mediums. Let me say that again. Backcasting Evolutionary Alliance Mediums. You know, Marshall McLuhan said, the medium is the message. We are now the mediums. And what I'd like to recognize you all as part of now is the formation of this alliance. We are backcasting. We are projecting the future our hearts know is possible. And we are telling the story of how we got there. So we're speaking from the future heart that we all carry, and we're backcasting. And right now, it's 2030. We're at backcasting camp. All the kids are coming in, and you showed up to be a backcasting camp counselor. What is your gig? What are you doing there?
Yeah, if I backcast to 2005, something, a 2 o'clock in the morning idea came upon me, changed my life, went on, did different things. But backcasting, I discovered that all of these people that I knew through Facebook and different mediums had some sort of transformative, enlightening thought about doing something. Jumping to the future, well, ahead a little bit to a couple of years ago, I had this guy, Arthur Brock, sitting in my living room, and he was launching Holochain and Holo. And I discovered that we had all the same people, and I just shared an idea with Arthur, and he came to New Zealand and we got together. And so without knowing it, all of these different people were thinking along the same lines, and somehow, without even constructing it, we had found ourselves in the same room, like this group of people here. And so I recognized some of these people. Going to 2030, the role that's been dumped on me is to be the advisor for ARC 2030, a global regenerative program where I can choose whatever role I want. And so, again, I'm looking at how do we break away from that closed road? That closed road is there because, you know, with the pandemic, as expressed earlier, it's under repair. It's broken. We're either going to build a new road, we're going to fix that road, we're going to take a different path, we're going to wander through the bush where the path is a little leaf. We can go in all sorts of directions. We just need to know our place here. So there's a lot of stuff coming together here. And the beauty is that we're seeing a pattern. And that's how our brain works, in pattern recognition. And the pattern is a living thing. It's transformative. It's agile. It's all over the place. But it's musical. It's art. It's creativity. It's joy. It's fun. One of the fun things that I did, I don't want to talk too long, was create the world's first talking forest, because I wanted to disrupt the way we walk through the forest and our brain just goes tree, leaf, whatever, and have the forest talk to us. I didn't know at the time that after I created that, Douglas Adams had heard about the talking forest. And it was his idea for us to see the world from different perspectives. And imagine if we could talk to the animals, walk with the animals, chimpanzees, rata trees. And we never got to connect. But then a couple of years ago, and Brett knows this, his sidekick appeared out of the blue, Robbie Robbie, who said, we want to create 42.0. We want to take this community that Douglas Adams had built, the first social network, and transform it into a modern, inclusive network that brings all people together. And it was funny because New Zealand has a wizard of New Zealand who made me the other wizard of New Zealand. And he gave me the number 42 as my number and chief stirrer in New Zealand. So suddenly I had this magical role to play where mayors of New Zealand stood on a mountain while the wizard bonked me with a big rubber hammer on the head and declared me the chief stirrer. So funism, and that's what Robbie brought to me, Robbie Stamp, is the idea that in saving the planet, we can actually make it enjoyable and not a labor, not a task, not something that we grudgingly do, but something that we can create the future, bring science fiction, but also histories, and weave it all together and have fun and enjoyment out of doing what we're doing now, which is what we've been doing this morning. So that's my thoughts.
Thank you. It is what we've been doing. We've been having a lot of fun, but it's also been a very heartfelt time. There were mostly men on the call. I see Stephanie in the room right now. I know we've got Yannicka doing artwork. But Brett set up the context for us as men to hold that space, which at first I was like, wait, why? There's somebody who wants to participate that's female. But I really love the path that we took and that we've landed right here in this very kind of connected, deep sharing space, which doesn't happen face to face often with men, let alone virtually. So I'm very appreciative for this time this morning, beaming with you all. And I am gonna invite Stephanie, if she doesn't mind, being one of the few women who's also part of the Design Science Studio and presented herself this morning, if I recall. There was so much happening. Welcome. And
thank you.
What would you like to share with us from your perspective?
I wish I had been here. Some sessions went longer, so but I know Jai, and his work and his game, and it's such a wonderful game, and I've participated in many of his experiences and games and VR stuff. I even have a set of cards that I created for the game. So I would have loved to hear that, and I just, his message, and it's similar to so many things in the studio of the circularity of things and the nesting of spheres that we all are, and the stacking of us. So I just feel like his, it's a great technology. I have a whole set here and a game board, and I even documented a lot of the different things that they were doing, showing, because he has some of the folks in the Design Science Studio. Also, we've been doing this work for our lives. It's our life's work, and like Brett, you too. It's like I think so many of us here. Mark, I feel like that must be you too, because of your life and how you live it and your experience. But we've been doing this kind of work for a long time, so it's really so moving and beautiful. And I can understand, Brett, why you feel like it's your birthday, because having so much more keep on coming into it, and it just feels like the soil's much more ready for the work that so many people have where it wasn't ready before. So I just feel so grateful to be seeing this time, and also having conversations where, again, I'm going to bring up the neural diversity, because I think once we change words and what we say about people and things, and put each other into little categories of things, it's just to widen the view of just that we are all neurally diverse humans here, and we all have so much to give and do. And did I just go away? Yeah. And there's just so much to do here, and just so grateful for beaming right now, and just what a beautiful idea and project that you're doing to keep bringing the incredible work flourishing, keeping it going. So thank you for building these beautiful pathways and lines that is connecting us all and spreading the seeds of what we're creating. So really appreciative of the work Brett and Mark are doing here, and Jay and you guys. I don't know you that well. I don't know you yet, but thank you.
So I'd like to invite Jamin. We've sat on a call before a few times. I just trying to learn what you're doing and how you're approaching your intention. And you sat in with us this whole way and you've been dancing. There's obviously something moving in your here, something jiving. Why don't you just share with us a little bit of what you're feeling?
Yeah. Well, I'm feeling wonderful, just love and connection. And, even though I don't know, I didn't know everyone here coming in, I do recognize you, Mark, and it's been really great to see you in the past and reconnect with you now today. And I recognize other familiar faces. And it's my love for Brett and my trust in Brett that really just brought me here to just jump into the swimming pool. And, through that love and trust, it was very easy for me to extend that to everyone here and just jump in and play. And so I'm just feeling all warm and fuzzy and, like it's all of our birthday, because we're in the process of being reborn as one and really recognizing our oneness, that we are one. And, just like when I was, suddenly ejected from my mother's womb, a very comfortable, quiet, rhythmic, warm, wet place to this world. There's some unknown and, a little trepidation and whatnot, but I'm just learning to, having been through that before, just, it's okay. Just go with it, be with it. And, just keep on keeping on. So I'm just really loving I'm experiencing and feeling this oneness, this one mind, one heart. And it's kind of that, like, I really like that duality card, the yin yang, because yes, we are individuals, but we're also one. So, well, which is it? Well, it's both. And so I'm just really experiencing the bothness, the bothness of it. And just have a deep curiosity for what's next, but also a sense of collective agency, that it's not just a question that we ask and then wait for an answer. It's a question that we get to answer together. So curiosity mixed with agency. Yeah, and happy to answer more questions, riff off more stuff. So just hit me when you feel like it, and just love the dance, loving the dance.
Why don't you just mention what is it you do? The time that I jumped on, there's like these 24-hour long calls that you're hosting, and why don't you just share what that is and what the intent behind that is?
Yeah, totally. So going back to the January of last year, so 14 months ago, I was reading a white paper written by Lauren and Charles of Kiko Lab, the Collective Intelligence Collab. And one of the points they were making is just that there's all these different groups and we're so disconnected. And I was like, yeah, there's all these different groups and we're so disconnected. And, that's all messed up. So what came to me and us, I and one of my colleagues, Nolan, was, hey, why don't we create a collective intelligence block party and let it be a 24-hour collective intelligence block party? And so we do this every Friday. We've only taken 2 Fridays off since we started, a year and a month and a half ago, and for the holidays. But other than that, we do it every Friday. We start at 7 a.m. Pacific time Friday morning, and we go all the way to 7 a.m. Pacific time Saturday morning. So it's a 24-hour collective intelligence block party. Everyone's welcome. Thank you, Brett. Go to radish.org for the link. Just click on the block party and the link's right there. It's my Zoom room. And so we just kind of put the word out, and then people like you, Mark, started showing up, and Brett, and just all these amazing people. And I recognize other familiar faces from today. And so we just keep doing it. And the idea is, you know, with collective intelligence, there's so many different facets to it. And the idea is just like a block party. Let's just take all the formality out of it, take the presentation, the white paper, the my idea is better than your idea. Let's just get together. You know, there's food in the kitchen, there's beer and wine in the cooler, you know, there's bong is in the back, you know, keep it on the down low. And just come and go as you please. Bring everyone you know, bring everyone you love. Just, you know, just if you just met somebody on the bus, just bring them too. And let's just all hang together. And part of the idea is that by going long form and just kind of getting into the zone, like at a really great party that goes all night long, or at Burning Man or whatever, you know, you go into the zone and then you kind of get into a rhythm, just kind of like I love Jurgis's music and all that's kind of getting us into this rhythm. And just by hanging together, we really connect and bond and are able to share at deeper and deeper levels. And anyway, and then out of that, last summer, about 6 months into the block party experience, which then coincided with the whole pandemic, we launched right before the pandemic. And then of course, everyone's in the Zoomosphere and all that. And we said, you know, why don't we extend this from 24 hours every Friday, Saturday to 24/7. So we opened up my Zoom room to be 24/7. And, you know, we're kind of almost 24/7. And there's some real dedicated friends and colleagues who just kind of keep it going all night long. I don't know how they do it, but, you know, they're just so committed to it. And they just love having this just perpetual open space. And then from there, we branched out and we do a press conference every Thursday. It's like an open press conference. Our latest incarnation is we're creating the Chrysalis Calendar, with the idea being that in addition to a space where everyone can just show up and connect, let's have a calendar of all these different super cool events that are going on in the realm of global transformation, because there's so many facets to it, you know, from cooling the planet to planting trees to group meditation to the spiritual to the yoga to you name it. Well, let's put them all up on a common, you know, universal calendar of sorts of global transformation, so that as just one more way in which we can bring the network together. Because my particular view of the collective intelligence evolving to collective superintelligence is just as you have, like, imagine the metaphor from a neuron to a brain, which is a bunch of neurons all connected together. Now, a neuron is analogous to one conversation, like this one that we're having right now. Map that to the entire network of conversations. How do we get this network of conversations just hyper connected? So like even as we're speaking, it's being transcribed and indexed, and then some bot somewhere is saying, oh, you guys are talking about something very similar to what's being discussed over there. Bzz, let's make a connection. And we all collectively hit some button and the two rooms merge, you know, like crossing streams. And it's just like, whoa, you know, I mean, it's like we're just like right on the cusp of this, just kind of like the eyes of the avatar, you know, opening up and just going, holy shit, I exist. The new I is the collective superintelligence, this network of conversations. Like we're just about there. It's like we got these little baby sticky. So Brett just got born. It's his birthday, but his eyes are still kind of stuck and he's just starting to pry the eyelids open. And at first we see kind of stickiness. That's kind of like where I feel we're at right now. I'm just kind of seeing through this sticky goo that's still trying to hold my eyelids shut, but we're just bing, bing, just prying them open and bah, you know, the collective superintelligence is awakening as we speak. And it's going exponential. Ray Kurzweil doesn't have it all right, but he did get a lot of it right. And the singularity is here. And so, wow, welcome to this moment. And this moment is all of us just hyper connected and literally just our oneness is just growing as the neurons start to connect with each other. And the chrysalis, I think, is a really great metaphor for, we used to be this caterpillar just demolishing everything in our path. And now with everything collapsing, we're becoming this gooey chrysalis. So we're in this chrysalis state. And the pandemic definitely accelerated that, where we're all at home and then all connecting with each other. So it's like the imaginal selves. We are the imaginal selves, and we're now starting to really connect and resonate and dance together and play these games together. Before we were emailing each other in the 90s, then we started Facebooking each other in the early 2000s, and then we started tweeting. Now we're Zooming together and we're like co-creating. And so it's just like the neurons are finally getting in real resonance, and we're becoming this collectively super intelligent neural network of not just minds, but hearts and shared intention and oneness. So I'm just slipping and sliding in the water slide, and then I start going backwards, and it's just like, whoa, this is fun. And then I take in some water from time to time, and it's like, whoops, all right, and then it's like, anyway, so it's just like every day is a new rediscovery of who the heck are we? Who am I? The big I, including you, all of us. Thanks, Mark, and everyone.
Wow.
So good to be here.
Thank you. We are here. We are here right now. It is actually the top of the hour. We usually go from 12 to 2. We are beaming Regen Era. We are sharing what's happening with the Design Science Studio that was brought together by the Buckminster Fuller Institute to bring 144 artists together and designers to explore exactly what you're talking about, Jamin. How do we evolve from the me to the we? As Bucky said, I am a verb. We are changing that to we are a verb. And we are here now dancing and jiving and picking up on the threads, the colorful threads. And we are looming, as Dave said. We are looming, not zooming. We are weaving together that future that we all know is possible when we put our minds to it and we show up for it. I am a bit tired. This has been going on. I can't do it 24/7. We've been doing this since Sunday. I am gonna stop. I am gonna welcome anything that wants to emerge. And I wish you all well for the rest of your day, your lives.
Right on. I'm going to, can you guys hear me okay? I'm not sure if my internet was, yeah, okay. So I'm going to also just say thanks again to everyone for tuning in. If you're still out there with us, you can see above my head there's a couple links to go check out. Regenera.art, regenera.city, Design Science Studio, designscience.studio. If you want to learn more about everything that we've alluded to at the beginning of the show. There'll be another group of 144 people next year, by the way. So if you're into becoming architects of the future rather than its victims, if you're into stopping the fight against existing reality and creating new models and systems that make the old or unbeneficial obsolete, if you want to be a regenerator, a co-creator, and bring your gifts and have an awesome time, check out this Design Science Studio and sign up for the next cohort next year. It's a 10-year project. So every cohort that comes along is going to transcend and include this initial artifact that's been created for this launch this week called Regen Era, which is this mythical floating city that's a storyverse. It landed 6 days ago and it will be here for the decade. And there's just fantabulous XR. There's art there. There's the Museum of Regenerative Art. There's this thing called Topia, which is this 2D thing. You'll see all of this if you go to the links. I'm still not a good presenter, right? I know it's on the opposite side of my head or something. So we've been here today, Mark and I, all week. We're celebrating all of the people that are involved in that, but we're obviously all celebrating all of our friends and networks and all of the people who are, in their own way embodying what it means to be the change they want to see in the world. So I still feel like I've got another few minutes at least in me. So I'm going to see if anyone wants to just kind of, as we've done today, relate to something that was shared today. Mark, if you want to head out, no problem. I'll carry us out a few more minutes and play some music at the end of the thing. And I also want to celebrate the artist before I check out and check in with them. So does anyone want to just chip in with a good thought or reflection on the evening? I mean, I feel super lucky, dude. We just went into I've been in Zoom meetings. I've been in networking Zoom meetings. I've been in kind of co-creative Zoom meetings. But this is for me, finally, on some level, we put it all together. There's people doing art. There was musical background. There was interviews. There were stories about people. There was people talking to the music. It reminds me of my childhood. I used to love Jim Morrison. He had a poetry record and he had music like that underneath his poetry. It was called the American oh my God, I can't believe I can't remember all of a sudden the name of his American Dream or something. But I mean, I feel lucky. This has been amazing. Playing a game together, working on our projects in a fun way, meeting Chris, for instance, Christopher here. We've had a connection just through messaging and we missed a call we were supposed to have. We have it scheduled for a couple weeks. So this is literally the first time I heard his voice, and it comes to the beat of Jurgis playing the guitar. I mean, and you've got a great radio voice, Chris. You had a great deep voice, actually. So it was really perfect. So this is the first time I've actually heard his voice, I think. Maybe some voice messages. But anyway, that's just the magic of what it was for me. And I don't think I can go back. I don't think you'll find me. I don't think you're going to see me on any project-oriented Zoom calls for the rest of my life. Somebody please rescue me if you see me in a call where there's no musical background or no X the game or no stories being woven into the manifestation. So I just feel really lucky. And if anyone wants to chip in something, please open up your mic and just try not to cut each other off and say whatever you like.
Yeah, Mark, I recognize you have to leave, but I have to build off on where what the journey has been for last 6 days, at least for me personally. And it's such a wonderful thing. I just got invited by Brett, and I had no idea what I'm getting into. And then when arriving here and finding all of you over here, and it's just magical and mystical how it emerges and how it takes you in, sucks you in, and then I'm just wondering how do we weave this going forward. That's the only question that's still going on in my head, and I am very, very happy, very, very happy.
Thank you for being with us all week, Arya. It's been a real pleasure. Arya is a new friend of mine as well through one of our mutual groups. I mean, and he just showed up and he's been drawing and hanging out. And he's one of our technology, NFT experts, along with the group that Jay mentioned, the XR Miami crowd. So so by the way, in case anyone thinks I'm talking BS, right? I'm a networker. You've seen all of my friends. I've built a trust network, as we all do. And we've got people that know every specialism there is out there, from NFT to holochain to decentralized autonomous organizations to people that know this, people from Circus du Soleil. Christopher, actually, maybe you want to even mention, I believe is a gamification expert. I think he works at one of the most well-known gamification companies on the planet or something like that. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but something like that. I mean, we have got everyone we need, and that's just us. Not to mention all of our friends that are friends of us are. So we are doing this, and it's just a matter of recouping after this week and then taking the next step and the next step and figuring out what the best way to go about the next thing is. But yeah, it's certainly actually REA is 100% going down. Craig, go ahead.
Yeah, I just showed up. It was great being here. I met Jay years ago and I played this game, and it was very interesting and I guess mind opening. What can be achieved when people are actually in tune with themselves or actually questioned. When I played the game, one of the ladies was remarking about her relationship, and as she was talking, I could see her answer wasn't truthful. And so I challenged her. And when she was challenged, the time card came up. So she had to wait and she had to sit and contemplate the question that was being asked of her. And when she came back after her going around a couple of times, actually, I think she got bumped twice, her whole view on life seemed to change because it gave her the time to sit and think and to appreciate the question and my honesty with asking her that she wasn't showing her honesty. And that it was amazing to see that in others. And that it's been a long time since I've seen Jay. But my contribution to this life and to try to make a better world and to advance our society so that it's humanized and not demonized, and to rid ourselves of this evil that was put in place to hold us down and for us not to be the creators that we are. I mean, I'm a Roman Catholic, but I'm more spiritual. And if this is God or the universal spirit and I'm created an image of it, I'm a creator also. It's just that I allow all the outside influences to come into the I that I am and to destroy me and not to allow me to be the creator that I am, that we all are. We are all gods and goddesses, but for some reason we're told that we cannot be. And because we cannot be, we are not able to fulfill our role here on this earth and to be the creators and to make it better from what we have. That is our only goal in our life, I believe, is to arrive and make this world better than what we found it, and to use our natural gifts and talents to be the creators that we are, and not to be held down and kept as slaves and being controlled and having power and having the tools and resources taken away from us that were given to us from the universal creation, the planet, the food, the animals, the ability to work and provide for our families, for our communities, and for our planet. And I've been in and out of many of these groups, and there's always a struggle. There never seems to be that one that jumps up that's coming out to save us all. But I think what you did here today is you created a community in a community with a community atmosphere. The music, the art, the creativity, the ability to share, the ability to be able to listen and to be inspired what everyone else is doing. And then that in ourselves creates that little spark inside. It builds up that burning desire, that fire that wants us to be out there and to make a better world and to enjoy this world and to live with happiness and love and the purest bliss that is allowed for us to have as humans. But we have to look down from above to see ourselves and how we interact in our society, how we interact with one another, how I interact with myself, and how I can see my bad points and my good points, and to take my creative gifts and talents and put them out there. And hopefully others will join me and create this world that I desire to have. I'm from a small little island on the east coast of Canada called Newfoundland. We're an unpolished emerald in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, surrounded by beauty and pristine environments. The nature of the land and around the land provides what we need. But unfortunately, the powers be control that and it takes it away from me. It doesn't allow me to be me, the creator, and to be able to provide for others. But I still fight. I still stand. I use my mind and my five wits and my five senses so that I can create. And by joining with networks as yours and others and building and sharing and conquering this difficulty that I face and that many others face, we can overcome and create this heaven on earth, which is what it's supposed to be, and bring a balance to our world. Evil, right? There's good and there's bad. And right now it seems that the evil is higher. We need to balance it out at least for us to survive and continue. And that's what I hope for. So Me personally, I'm working on recovering precious metals from the ocean floor. We have one project now that may bring us anywhere from 100 million to $1 billion. That is going to be reinvested into graphite, which is the miracle mineral of the future. By producing graphene, that's going to help with a lot of the things in our world today. We can get off oil. We no longer need to burn oil because the graphene will create the supercapacitor batteries for electric cars and all mobile devices. Graphene will clean water. You can take salt water, just pour it through the graphene, comes out crystal clear, fresh water, no power for desalination plants. We can basically create fresh water just by doing this. It's amazing technology, an amazing resource. With that, we hope
Craig.
to
Finish your thought. Yeah.
Oh, and with that, I'm also working with Ocean Builders. They're down in Panama, and we're building hopefully the fastest, highest yield growing system called the roller garden. Basically, it just rolls and produces vegetables or lettuces and tomatoes. It grows like lettuce in 3 weeks or so, 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, thank you, Craig. That was an epic share, and we're all with you as creators. And as creators, there are no oppressors really, there are no people or forces that can take anything away from any of us because we are the creators. And I think us just waking up to that, as Jamin was talking about, it reminded me of the Matrix, Jamin, when they come in those pods and they got all the goo. When we're waking up to the truth, the fundamental truth that we all are consciousness itself. We are the divine consciousness, the spark itself. There is nothing in the way, only us to get on with the work of continuing to come together, as we've all said. So thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here. I'm just going to check in. I want to check in with Yannicka, who's been here all week making art. As I said, we've been doing live art because we're going to create these NFTs, and it's been pretty incredible. So Yannicka, how are you doing? Can you tell us a little bit about how the week's been for you, like listening and making some art? And
Hi, yeah, thank you, Brett. It's been a great week. I only skipped one day, the day that my mom painted. And I watched the live stream that day. So I feel like I've just wanted to like witness every moment of it. And while painting, it sort of felt like this opportunity, because when I'm like getting lost in these doodles, I always feel it's so isolated, so alone, so in my own mind. And here I am able to do that, but instead of listening to music or a podcast or just whatever, my own thoughts or the kids, I have 2 kids running around. So just to have carved out this time in the middle of every day this week has felt very indulgent, but also like important to nurture my craft. And because it's a stream of consciousness doodling, I don't have any plan for the composition. It's just this whatever comes out of it is the plan for it. And so listening to you guys all week has really, I think, generated this very colorful, expansive, anything's possible, any angle, any flow, any swirl. It all goes. Like I don't have to redo or undo anything once it's been laid down, once it's been said, like in these beams. Once it's said, it's there. And it's sort of like we've been, like you say, sort of almost mining ourselves as we do it. And if we're from the future, I really like that thought too, because I often think about, am I from the future? Why am I struggling so much to, I don't want to say fit in, but maybe that is the term. Like I've always wanted to fit in, and
but you'll say it, yeah.
Or not admit that I want to fit in. I don't know. I think it's being maybe an immigrant. So my parents and I moved from the former Soviet Union to California when I was 6 years old. And now my son is 6 years old. He's sitting here playing Roblox. So he and I are both in our sort of uh, virtual realms for tech time in the middle of the day, and the baby's running around. But you know, even now about fitting in, like I'll meet moms with kids, and these are my friends as other moms, and finally it feels like, oh, I fit in with the moms because we all have kids, we all have this in common. But even there you find so many differences of opinion, and it's not about agreeing, of course, all the time, but at least here I see something in the chat about fitting in, for sure. It's something that, yeah, it's like you don't, I don't want to say it defines me, or like I'm looking for my people or something, or my tribe, or feeling lost, feeling displaced, or moving to a new place, learning a new language, that sort of adaptation in childhood. Then everything I try, everything that's where I feel new, feel like I don't fit in or something. So maybe it's not even so personal this week with this. This is more about just the excitement of the Buckminster Fuller Institute doing this, and how that's always been that future, looking into the future and dreaming about what could work for everybody is really huge. I think that the fact that you guys are discussing that and dreaming about it, co-creating it, is the only way. It's our only hope almost, because like Craig, I think, was just saying that the evil feels like it's winning, like every day, especially if you, depending on what media you're consuming, it feels like it's winning. So yeah, maybe when I'm painting, meditating, letting go, and going into that flow state, I feel like I'm contributing to some positive aspect of good energy. Or even if I feel like I'm ignoring my children, and so I don't normally just paint in the middle of the day. So I try to carve that time out at night when they're asleep, and I can really focus. But it's been fun to have that challenge this week. So it's just been so great to meet you, Brett, and you, Mark, and like be here with amazing people, and be having that streaming into my home where it's just great. Thank you. Well, it is the potential of that coming together, even if only virtually, but maybe we couldn't all gather in a room right now, obviously physically face to face. Like it is what it is. It's really cool. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go. Yeah. Thank you for all the smiles.
You know what? I am now going to go because, and I want to mention, we are here closing out Beaming Regen Era, which is part of the overall project put on by the Design Science Studio and Buckminster Fuller Institute. And right now there is Evo, I believe, no, who's presenting right now, but it's the Meta movie. I think, Brett, you're going to want to hop in on this. Anybody else? You're welcome to go to regenera.art. And then you'll find all sorts of click-throughs there, and something will inspire you, I'm sure. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We're going to have a very interesting show tomorrow. We're bringing folks from the Design Science Studio together that are working with how do we reconnect with nature. And they've got projects that they've presented over this last week. And I'm bringing a friend of mine who just wrote a book and has been released called The Nature of Work. And he has the ears and the eyes of the, you might say, the captains of industry and government and whatnot. And he is helping to shift those minds and hearts. And we're going to make some connections tomorrow to see what happens from the Design Science Studio over to the world of work. Thank you all. Join us again. We're beaming out. See you later.
Thank you, everybody. Just going to play my favorite outro song. You're more than welcome to drop off as you please. Good night, everyone. Thanks again for the awesome time and the birthday celebration. You're all loved. Thank you.
Love you, Brett. Love you all. Thanks so much.
just wanna be happy. I wanna live with some peace of mind, with who I am at all times, with who I am at all times. So I think life, think love, think righteous, solely indeed, all in together, all about we, all will remember cause it's all beyond me, all about free so my spirit flow at ease, light years beyond my pride, just to carry over the shine inside my life. Maybe it was all the exception, or a different perspective. Maybe I just had to learn a lesson, a confession, or get a sense of direction. Playing the game so limited, simply was the process involved. So we suffered, fought as failed lovers, covered and concealed, not revealed who we truly are. And through the light years, so many stories we told. But no matter how intense or the depth, nothing keeps the truth unexposed. Nothing keeps the truth unexposed. Nothing keeps the truth unexposed. Nothing keeps the truth unexposed.
Nothing keeps the truth unexposed.
So long holding on to an illusion. My heart is free, no confusion now. I feel everything that I'm choosing. I see, I understand love. In a mind far beyond all space and time, a phenomenon lives, ever crystallized, thought victimized. In the infancy, love always rules, there is no other dependency. Exposed how my throne stayed aligned, just to open up so that a storm may arise. Maybe I can catch it, maybe I can spare the pride. Humbly in greatness, I'm no longer surprised. Rise in the mind, I don't have to jump ship. Living what I'm not holds moles that don't fit. How does it exist? It's something like an art. Only way to shift it, be the Noah's Ark. Why? I just wanna live my life, knowing that I'll be alright. I just wanna play with my heart still major, play for creative nature. Never meant to feel pain, so I danced when the rain came. All the stories and the change, worth it every time. Never meant to cause pain, but it still served in my mind frame. All the roles we had to play, still living, loving life.